Hi friends! Here is a nice do-it-yourself idea that I absolutely need to share with you. I couldn't find anything similar that would be commercially available. And it is really worth it striving to make such a simple piece of furniture yourself. This is an extra episode which is a bit apart from the usual content. However, I'm sure that you will find this interesting. Even after mounting some decent power sockets to the wall and shaping my cabling a bit, my media device arrangement doesn't really look appealing. We are seeking for a nicer look in the middle of our flat. Since our internet provider announced the rollout of fiber optic cable now, I know that we will soon have even more boxes and cabling on the wall. In addition, we might have a home automation gateway plugged to the router. And then I had the idea to use an inductive charger for our smartphones, which I can power using the USB port of the router. This saves an additional power supply with additional standby consumption. But then we will be at a point where all the cables, power supplies and boxes are looking really extremely messy. And don't ask me what my wife is telling me about it. Now, my idea was to somehow cover the whole cable mess. And we wanted a board for the telephone and an inductive charger. The design should be discreet. Then there is some very important technical requirements. Above all, we need good air convection to avoid the devices are heating up. Of course, there should be no attenuation of Wi-Fi and DECT signals. And in case of any maintenance, we need easy access to the devices. It's always good at the start of a project to draw the schematics for the complete arrangement. This gives us an overview for the future circuitry. Boxes and cables shall be covered by a detachable cover. The fixed line telephone and an inductive charger for smartphones can be found on the top board. Our first design idea was a rather minimalistic approach. However, when we realized how much space we would need for all the boxes, we decided to go for a much bigger design that also leaves some space for additional stuff. And the higher level of the top board is much more convenient to pick up the phone from there. The construction plan is to make the top board as well as the cover detachable by magnetic locks. The base construction is made from rectangular wood blocks that are mounted to the wall. The cover consists out of loudspeaker fabric attached to a wooden frame. And the frame is then kept in position by the magnetic locks. Now let's have a look on the realized construction. Before drilling holes into the wall, it's always a good idea to find first the electric lines and the data lines in the wall. And then use tape markers on the wall to indicate where they are running. A simple locator device for only a few bucks usually does a good job to find the lines. It is for sure 10 times cheaper and 100 times less effort than damaging a line in the wall. I felt that solid power sockets and some spare space for optical devices that are coming or other boxes is always a good idea. Let's have a look on the actual design now. Of course, I involved my wife to sort out the materials here. We choose beechwood for the board and a dark grey speaker fabric that is tacked on the wooden frame. The idea to take just a thin wooden plate with wallpaper on it was also on the table. But we found the speaker fabric more attractive and the Wi-Fi signal attenuation is probably even lower. In addition, there is some practical tricks that I want to share with you. You will need magnetic locks that each can hold 4 kilograms or more, so that you get a sturdy fit of all the elements. Walls are not perfectly straight, in most cases, especially in older buildings. Here is a tip to make it look much better. Window seals makes the perfect fit to the wall. And don't forget to leave a cables gap in the corner so that the cables for the devices on the board can run through it. From a lower perspective, we can see the magnetic locks and the base construction of the board. Maybe I will glue a small piece of beechwood under the board to better hide them. I also want to mention a further cool idea here. There are inductive chargers available, which could be mounted into the wooden board. With that, you could charge your smartphone through the board. And the inductive charger would be invisible. That would be really nice. Unfortunately, I do not have the proper woodworking tools for this, but maybe you can realize it. You know, engineers are extremely cautious people. A proper air convection behind the cover was the most important prerequisite for our project. You don't want to destroy your devices or even burn your house with that. The devices must not overheat. This turned out to be no problem, because the big gaps on the bottom and on the top allow perfect air convection. Together with sufficient space inside, the temperature behind the cover does not increase. But you know, engineers rather want to have a second proof here. From my router I can get a CPU temperature report, which I will share with you here. The temperature of the silicon is about 65 degrees Celsius, which you can derive from the given graphics. This is pretty far from the maximum temperature, which is about 120 degrees. During the operation, I couldn't detect any bigger change with or without the cover. Not even when my router was very busy with heavy downloads. I also wanted to know whether the cover would attenuate the wireless signals. For this purpose, I checked and compared some RSSI reports from my router for different rooms in our flat. There was no degradation measurable from the cover. I even found out that I could hide a little reflector under the cover made from cardboard plated with aluminum foil. This helped on one hand to increase the signal strength in a room where it was critically low, and on the other hand it shields unwanted signals from the opposite direction. This simple measure contributes a bit to improve the Wi-Fi stability. Now, my friends, I can proudly tell you that we have all the requirements fulfilled. And now we are looking forward to get our fiber optic internet connection, even when we get more boxes on the wall. We still can switch off our Wi-Fi from the router, which we can still reach through the upper gap. However, I found out that I can program it to automatically switch off the Wi-Fi during the night. This is of course much more convenient, and I do not touch anything at all. We really managed to realize our idea to have a nice cover for the messy media cabling. The detachable cover and top board make it really convenient for any changes or maintenance. I know that proper woodworkers could do it still better. However, I'm happy to tell you that even my wife is really happy with the appearance now. And you know, this is what counts. This means quite something for us hobbyists. Now, stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe and support the channel. See you soon in the coming episodes.